Hello, thanks for watching. It is Thursday the 28th of March 2019. It's half moon day really. It's actually already happened. That was 4:09 a.m. UK, so 9 minutes past midnight today the 28th on the east side of the States and Canada. And on the west side it was actually, let me see, must have been 3 hours before. I would say about 9 minutes past 9 p.m. To be honest, I don't know. I keep forgetting because daylight saving time is slightly different between us at the moment. But on Sunday the 31st, just 4 days from now, including today, we are going to be back to the old thing where it's kind of 5 hours behind or 8 hours behind. And it all works again, and I know what I'm talking about again. But it is most definitely half moon day, and Mercury retrograde is over. That is the great news. It actually goes on until I believe the 16th of April in the post-shadow phase, but that is where we start understanding the lessons that we've been taught, and we start realizing kind of things mostly around communication. Nearly everything that's happened is going to slowly boil down to communication, and we'll see that. We'll get the answers as we go through the post-shadow. There is actually another Mercury retrograde. It's kind of 3 or 4 every year. It's just the way it goes with Mercury. But the next one isn't until, not until after the summer solstice, something like July the 7th, I think. So we've got a long time of retrogradeless happiness ahead of us. It's bound to be happy. It is if you visualize it as happy. That's the thing to do. The actual, generally speaking, astrology of the day is the moon is in Capricorn. Things are that bit more formal. This has been the case since yesterday afternoon, by the way, here in UK, and yesterday morning in the States and Canada. Moon in Capricorn, formal, strict, exacting, and people can be reserved and distant as well, but it's all to do with wanting things to be done properly. And when people are distant, it's because they want things not to be done wrongly, and we can worry too much about that. Basically, if we get out there and do something, it's going to be right or wrong. If it's wrong, we're going to have a chance to fix it. It's the only way to look at it, really. Aquarius moon coming in on Saturday, but until then, we've got this Capricorn influence. Just basically, my advice wouldn't be to rely too much on anyone else being pliable and wanting to go along with plans and things. People just kind of can get a bit stuck. But then again, it is the end of Mercury retrograde, so it is a time for kind of, there's a feeling of a release of pressure, really, isn't there? I think that's probably the best way to put it. As we go on through this week, there's another shift coming up, but it's not until Sunday, the 31st, when the times change again, because that's when the UK does spring forward in the middle of the night, and everyone wakes up on the Sunday morning not knowing what day it is or anything. That's always great fun, that, because I'm usually up first and I've usually worked it out by then. But there we go. On Sunday the 31st, let me see, Mars in Gemini, can't see where it is now. Oh yes, Mars leaves Taurus and enters Gemini. That's what's happening. So we go, the energy of Mars is very strong, and it's seen often as being a lot like Taurus, although the ruling planet of Taurus is Venus or Ceres, depending on which tradition you look at. But the Mars energy is a very strong thing, and yet it's actually been quite gentle in recent times. Mars has been making aspects to planets that just kind of cool everything down, and we see the more compassionate side of things. And we also see the Mars energy driving things forward rather than making things complicated. Now, next week, totally with the Aries new moon, it's really depending on healing energy from Mercury and Mars. And there's two planets that are kind of difficult to trust, really, in the general scheme of things. So be willing to trust as we go forward and make the rest of this week about getting in a place where you really can trust. It shouldn't be too difficult now because, as I keep saying, Mercury retrograde is over. So we've got the Cappy moon. The moon, as I actually speak, is, let me see, 48.5% full, so just down off waning. The new moon is going to be on the 5th of April, 9:50 a.m. in UK time. So let me see, it's actually going to be 8 and 5, but definitely in the early hours of the 5th of April is when the new moon's coming. Between now and then, we're in the third quarter. There's not a lot of lunar energy behind things, But that isn't a thing to worry about. That isn't anything for any concern. That just means that we're standing on our own 2 feet more. And it's a pulse, you know, we get the assistance and we have to make it work. We have to walk the talk, but not for too long, because that new moon comes in and we can look ahead. We can start planning again. We can think about moving forward. That's really what it's all about. Today's general astro weather, the sun is still square Saturn. Leaders may face setbacks. Well, I very rarely put the news on, but something told me to put it on this morning. And I think Theresa May, the British Prime Minister, has agreed to resign sometime in the future, which is, you know, the usual kind of hopelessly incapable British politician doesn't know whether to resign or not, but something's happened anyway. She's taken things more seriously, so I'm quite pleased with that. It's about patience though at the moment, and kind of cool diplomacy rather than going nuts trying to sort everything out. So whatever you're leading, you know, the best of luck with that. I really, you know, say that genuinely, but try and keep it at banter if arguments are breaking out, that kind of thing. The moon herself sextile Mercury should be a good day for expressing feelings and emotions, and also for being in contact with the esoteric, doing readings, that kind of thing. Looks like a positive day for that. Mercury void in Pisces. Well, nervous energy is high, schedules are falling apart, but dear me, it is the end of Mercury retrograde, so I'm going to say that's not too bad at all. Venus is conjunct Mercury, and this means kind of friendly things are stimulated. Creative expression isn't too difficult. Again, that's yet another instance of that in the chart today. A time of mergers, people coming together and kind of making economic progress, letting go of things a bit as well. Looks quite positive in human relations. So there again we have Mercury being very, very positive. Mars void in Taurus could be a bit panicky, but there we go. I mean, that's Mars for you. You never know. But there is always energy with Mars. So if things even look like they might start becoming negative, have a project to channel those energies into. Do something constructive. It makes all the difference. Okay, friends, that's my look at it for today. I hope that's of some help. Don't forget to like if you liked it. If you didn't like it, you know what to do. Subscribe and tap the bell, because there'll be more. Thanks again. Have a great day. Goodbye.